All right, on this show, we get to do something very cool. We're going to go to Erin Hills and talk to the Jake. Peter Jacobson's going to be on the program today, plus a whole lot more. Stick around. It is all powered by the Red Zone over on Regent Street and Conant Automotive in Stoughton. Lots of interviews straight ahead here on the Sports News on 57 Sports. I know my boy Bruce is going to be very excited that we are bringing in our next guest here because he's excited about this man coming on over and being the new head coach over at Madison East, and that's Jeremy Thornton. And Coach, welcome on in. Thank you for joining us here on the Sports News. And let's talk about your inaugural season with Madison East and what your background is. What are you going to bring to the table?
So bringing to the table is just my experience as a student athlete at Madison East High School in 2003, where we were successful enough to win a conference championship, as well as have our first playoff berth in over a decade, which hasn't happened most recently, at Madison East High School. So I think bringing that attitude, that leadership to the football team this year will be truly a good experience for all the student athletes there.
Yeah, how hard is it to change like a culture? You talk about making the playoffs in 2003 and then some of the recent struggles that Madison East has gone through. How do you change that culture? And having served as an interim AD over at West, do you know a little bit on how to do that from the top down?
I mean, taking on that leadership role at West, helps prepare me for this position as a head coach for football. And I'll bring that, wealth of knowledge along with me. But more importantly, it's just looking at it from this standpoint. You have to have a plan in place. I have a 3-year plan for Madison East football, and I'm just gonna take my time, be patient, and make sure all my students are prepared on and off the field to play week in and week out.
Now, what can fans who are watching the game kind of expect from you? What can your players expect? What's your coaching style?
Coaching style is all predicated on balance. I don't wanna be too high, I don't wanna be too low. I wanna be even-keeled and make sure my student athletes, exhibit that same type of philosophy when they approach the game. And just understanding that you take an opportunity. I mean, each Friday you go out, you prepare during the week, and you have an opportunity to, beat another team. And you just do your best, and you'll learn from those experiences.
Now, this is your first time at the helm of a team.
Yep.
Is that an advantage or disadvantage?
I can say right now, I don't know. But that's just being frankly honest, but at the same time, I'm gonna be confident and say it is an advantage to an extent. Other teams aren't familiar with our offensive scheme or defensive scheme, but I only know what I know. And I'll utilize, mentors who are former head coaches and the people around me in the football world to help prepare.
Coach, we got about 20 seconds left. Can we talk about the Big 8 Conference, your expectations? This year you start out hard, end hard. You got Cardinals on both ends of the schedule.
Yes, we do. In the Big 8, it's just a tough conference, all in all. You can be picked first and you might end up last, and wherever we're picked, we're not gonna worry about that. We're just gonna focus on, one play at a time, one game at a time.
Well, the cool thing is we'll have you on 57 at least once this year, maybe even twice. Looking forward to that and looking forward to watching you, Coach. Thanks a lot for joining us on the show.
Appreciate it. Go Golders.
Brought to you by Conant Automotive, taking care of you by taking care of your family's car.
I think the summertime is a great time to hear some inspirational stories, and I love this one. So I've gotten to read about this a little bit and talk to the guys right here. We're going to bring them to you right now. It's Bill and Jordan Went. They are owner and driver of Wentz Motorsports. And gentlemen, welcome on into the Sports News. And Jordan, let's ask you right away, as far as your racing background goes, how did you get started?
I started racing tortards at 6 years old, and I was what was I?
Well, he was practicing at Sugar River.
Okay.
And some gentleman came up to us and said, how long has he been racing? And I said, well, this is our first time. And someone said, hey, he might have a career in this, So
I think that's very cool. Now, I think it's also kind of cool, the story, the backstory behind all this, and Jordan coming through having kidney disease and then fighting through that. How were you able to push through that, guys. That had to be really hard. But not only do that, but to go back into racing.
Jordan's just a very will-strong person. He is very determined in life, whether it's working in his lawn care business or racing. He loves to give back to the community. He just fights through everything. He just doesn't let things bother him and just continues to go and just keep on going.
Wow, you got to be tough as nails, Jordan. That's very impressive. So, what have you raced on, and where are you racing right now?
I'm racing micro midgets at Ancient Park Speedway, and that's it.
In Plymouth, Wisconsin.
Okay, all right. So the micro midgets, very cool. And I think you guys also feel the kind of need to, as far as an owner of a motorsport, to kind of give back to the community. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. We go down to Beloit, Wisconsin. It's called Race to Read. It's the Head Start program down there. Jordan was 2 years ago was Volunteer of the Year. And what we do is we bring books that we get from the area schools when he was in high school. We got the books that they were going to throw away, and we gave them to the kids down there. Kids weren't really, didn't know that they could keep them or not. And then we also, Jordan gave them autograph cards and Beanie Babies and coloring books and stuff like that. We also do a lot of stuff with Make-A-Wish. We do the walk-a-run every year because Jordan was a Make-A-Wish kid. And we do a lot of community work with just anywhere we can go, whether it's parades, car shows, special events. We're there. I mean, there's a kid that got hurt down in Milwaukee, and we helped. We brought a box of goodies down there for him and that, and it's just remarkable that Jordan always wants to give back.
So it's amazing stuff. And Jordan, in just about 10 seconds or so, what's a message that you would like to give to everybody?
Never give up on your dream and keep on doing what you need to do.
Love it. We're going to have to check you out this summer. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us on the Sports News.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Beautiful time of year right now to get out to the lakes, the river, whatever body of water you want. Cast a line into the water and pick out some fish. And here to help us with that right now is Scott King. He is the owner of Sauk Prairie Live Bait and Tackle, who is with us right now to talk a little fishing. So welcome on in, Scott, and let's jump right in and talk a little fishing and say, hey, if I'm going to be fishing around the Sauk Prairie area, the Baraboo area, somewhere around there, why should I start my fishing trip at Sauk Prairie Live Bait and Tackle?
Well, Sauk Prairie Live Bait and Tackle is what I would call a niche bait and tackle. We carry a lot of the same things that the big box stores will do, Walmart and Cabela's, but we try and focus on having a lot of variety rather than the same old, same old. We have a lot of niche homemade products. An example of that would be the Wolf Big Dude blade lure. It's great for all kinds of fish, every species. We have it in sizes from 1/32 ounce all the way up to half ounce in about 70 different colors. And that, you won't find that in most big box stores around the country. And it's our best-selling lure.
Excellent. And it's good to have like that niche and something different. Everybody can find something at the big box stores, but something that they don't have. And it's great that you have that. Now, if I'm heading out, what kind of area, what bodies of water do you mostly serve?
So the Sauk Prairie area serves mostly the Wisconsin River, lower Wisconsin Riverway, all the way down to Prairie du Chien. And also Lake Wisconsin is one of our greatest fisheries. If you're looking for panfish, one of the best two in the area are Crystal Lake and Fish Lake. A lot of shore fishing available there. And one of my favorites is Devil's Lake. If you're really into trout, that's a great place to go.
Yeah, you would think with a name like Fish Lake, that'd be a good place to fish. What are some of the fish that the fishermen are specifically targeting, and how do you help with that?
So one of our best and most popular fishing species is walleye and sauger. They'll spawn in late February, early March in the Wisconsin River, end up on Lake Wisconsin, and a lot of fishermen will come and stay in local campgrounds and fish from shore, from the dam, all the way down to the old railroad bridge. Some of the best things for walleye are night crawlers and minnows, but we also have curltails and jig heads and hair jigs and all kinds of equipment that will make your walleye fishing very enjoyable.
Excellent. So from walleye, bass, panfish, you're talking about trout and Devil's Lake, all good stuff. Started off at Sauk Prairie Live Bait and Tackle. Scott, thanks for joining us. Good fishing out there.
Thank you.
Erin Hills in Wisconsin is playing host to the 117th U.S. Open this year, and this will mark the 6th public course the Open has visited in the last 117 years, and Peter Jacobsen has won 7 times on the PGA Tour, including the U.S. Open Seniors title in 2004, a true ambassador of the game. Peter joins us live from Erin Hills to talk about this year's U.S. Open. Peter, welcome.
Hey Justin, how you doing? I'm coming to you from the Lexus Performance Experience tent right here on the grounds. Pretty nice day so far, and the action is just underway.
Good, having some good weather down there?
We are. We've got broken clouds, we've got a little wind, but I think just 10% chance of rain, so
perfect.
You're in Madison, you know how the weather can change here.
Oh yeah, perfect, perfect, perfect. Peter, this is a link-style course. How will that challenge the golfers?
Well, when you talk about link style, that means the golf is going to be played close to the ground. American style golf is where you hit the ball in the air, try to carry bunkers and water and things like that and stop it on the green. When you talk about a link style, it's more authentic, like Europe, like Scotland or Ireland. The golf ball's got to be played closer to the ground because of conditions. You're going to get some wind here at Erin Hills, so I'm not sure a lot of the American players are used to that. That's why I think the Europeans, you may see some Europeans on the first page of the leaderboard all week and maybe even win the tournament on Sunday, but it's a real challenge. It's a different style golf. It's the kind of style you see played at the British Open.
Wow, that's so incredible that, the level of nuance that's involved in, how high the golf ball goes when you hit it. That's just incredible. Peter, we have at least 6 first-time winners this season. Can a first-timer capture this championship, you think?
Yeah, there's a possibility, but I think I would tend to think that it's going to be more an experienced player, someone who's either won a major before or has major championship experience. I don't think a first-time player ever in a U.S. Open could win it. Put it this way, the odds are long that that's going to happen because it's a pretty overwhelming experience just to play in a U.S. Open, and to think that rookie is coming down the stretch with a chance to win. As I said, the odds are not great for that happening. It could happen. We saw Jordan Spieth a couple years ago win at Chambers Bay. But it's going to take a really skilled player to be able to do that.
Yeah, I imagine somebody who's pretty level-headed. That's got to be a lot of pressure playing in the U.S. Open.
Yeah, when you look at the list of players that have won the U.S. Open, Nicholas, Irwin, Lee Janzen, Tiger Woods, you look at players that are very even-keeled with their temperament. You can't get too high out here, you can't get too low. You can't get excited when you make eagle, and you can't throw in the towel when you make a double or a triple bogey. You've got to put it behind you and move on.
Absolutely. And it seems like we may ask this every year, but does Phil Mickelson have a shot this weekend?
Well, Phil Mickelson just withdrew. He's in San Diego attending the graduation of his daughter. He was in the field.
Okay.
He was hoping that there was going to be a rain delay. He just withdrew just about an hour ago. The weather's too good. His daughter's graduating in high school, and his priorities are in the right order.
I would say so.
Phil's going to have to wait till next year to have a chance to win the U.S. Open.
Wow. Well, hopefully his daughter will thank him later on in life, or even today, for making that sacrifice for her. So, how big of an undertaking is something like the U.S. Open?
It's huge. We're here in the Lexus Performance Experience tent. Lexus has over 300 cars provided to the players to get to and from the golf course and around the city this week. 300 cars, that's an incredible number. We're in the spectator village here. I'm watching thousands of people walk by. This golf course is spread over hundreds of acres. It's like a little city here. So the USGA, when they put together this golf tournament, it starts a couple of months before and it'll be about a month afterwards to clean it all up. It's really fun to be here. I've played in tournaments before, US Opens, and I've been on site now outside. I've broadcasted before. It's just a great time to be here. But like I said, it's a little city. It's a huge undertaking.
That's incredible. Well, we have to hear this from you now, Peter. Who do you see posing with the trophy this Sunday?
Well, I would love to say Steve Stricker. He's my hometown dark horse favorite. I'm really proud of Steve for going out and qualifying, winning the qualifier to get in the field. But I think all things being equal, I really like Rory McIlroy. The way that he plays, the strength of his game is in his ball striking, and it's going to take a great ball striker this week to win.
All right, well, we'll see how that shapes up for you. Peter Jacobson, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Sports News.
Thanks, Justin.
And don't go away, there's more sports news coming up right after the break. Stick around. This celebrity interview was sponsored by Dodge Point Country Club.
A special thank you to Conan Automotive in Stoughton for supporting local athletics.
CrossFit Games are coming to our fine city here in Madison, Wisconsin, and a lot of people have been jumping on board, getting fit through CrossFit. As we bring in Dirk Gessler, he is the owner at CrossFit Recursive. And Dirk, I love talking some CrossFit. I personally have never done it. I've seen it a lot. Looks like a lot of fun. Great way to get into shape. So if I wanted to get started with CrossFit Recursive, how would I do that?
You can, one of two ways. You can either call us or log on to our website, www.crossfitrecursive.com. Schedule yourself a no sweat intro, and what that means is you're going to come in and sit down with us. We're going to talk about your goals and where you want to go, things you're already doing right, and how we can keep that going. And then we'll figure out the best place for you to get started for where you are right now.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of people are like, okay, what are the first few weeks going to look like that I'm doing this? Exactly how does that go?
We generally recommend people start out at roughly 3 times a week. So you're going to come in, the class is instructor-led from the beginning to end. They'll warm you up. We'll work on some mobility to make sure your joints are healthy, and then we'll either learn a new skill or lift some heavy weight, and then we'll finish it all up with a fun, intense workout in the last half to 15 minutes of the hour.
I know for every workout, you got to get prepared. As far as a CrossFit class, and if I'm going to my first CrossFit class, what do I have to do to be prepared for it?
Well, a lot of people think, oh, I need to get in shape so I can do CrossFit, but that's not the case at all. You use CrossFit to get in shape. So really all you need is make sure you have some comfortable clothes that you don't mind sweating in, and I'd bring a water bottle and show up, and we can take care of the rest.
Wow, that seems pretty simple. That's good stuff. Now, I know people want results. They're going to work out. They're like, okay,
absolutely.
What can I kind of expect realistically in the first few months of doing CrossFit?
The first few months are kind of a blur. You're just getting better at everything in CrossFit. We have so many different skills that you're working on, and you're improving in all these things. You're going to notice that you're sleeping better. Hopefully stress levels are down, and then you're going to have more energy, and then muscles in places that you didn't know you had muscles and things like that start happening pretty quick. So
that's always a good thing.
Yeah.
So we've been talking about it. The CrossFit Games are coming to Madison. Everybody's really excited about that. What are the CrossFit Games for people that don't know?
The CrossFit Games are the final part in a three-round test to find what CrossFit headquarters calls the fittest on earth. So there's an open which anybody can join in February, March. That lasts 5 weeks. And then the best from the open end up in regionals, which just wrapped up. There's regionals all over the world. And then the best from regionals will come to the CrossFit Games. So this is the best people, the best fitness people on the planet, basically.
Should be cool stuff. We are looking forward to that, and definitely looking forward into seeing people get into shape with CrossFit Recursive. Dirk, thank you so much for being here. We'll talk to you next time.
Thank you.
One of the cool things about having kids that are very active in sports is that you get to go all over the state and see some great facilities. And I gotta tell you, there is none better that I have watched my kids play a game in than at Just a Game Fieldhouse up in the Dells, as we bring in Chad Mazer, who's the Director of Business Operations up in the Just a Game Fieldhouse there. Chad, welcome on in. We're going to talk about some events that are going on, including something I think is pretty cool. It's the Guarding Against Cancer 5K run, 3K walk. Talk a little bit about that coming up on June 24th.
Sure. So the Guarding Against Cancer 5K run and 3K walk, it's a new event for us. It's for Greg Gard's new charity, and it starts and ends at Just a Game Fieldhouse in the Wisconsin Dells. And during that time, we'll have live music from bands such as Madison County. We'll have beer and root beer from Potosi Brewery. And the best part is 100% of those profits will go towards Greg Gard's new charity, Guarding Against Cancer.
Yeah, Madison County, good group, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Also, this whole event kind of falls during something that you have going on up there called the Big 1000 Hoop Fest. What does that all entail?
That's right. That's one of our new events this year. It goes from June 10th to the 24th. It includes a number of different tournaments and events for us. For groups of all ages. We have 10-year-old boys and girls, all the way up to men 50 and older. We're going to continue the trend of new music, live music, with Madison County and other groups. And also a portion of each of the entries that come in during that time are donated towards the Easter Seals of Wisconsin, MAC Fund, also Guarding Against Cancer. And one of our big events during that time is the Zach Showalter camp with Gary Close on June 22nd. It is filling up quickly, so we recommend everyone to get in that as soon as possible.
We know Gary, the shot doctor's a regular here on the program, so we like hearing that. You also have the WBCA All-Star Game, sixth time that you guys get to host that. What is that event all about? How cool is that?
It's awesome for us to be able to host an event such as the high school game here in Wisconsin. It's a privilege. It's an honor to be associated with the WBCA. Historically, that event has been in Madison at the field house. So it's an honor for that to come here to the Wisconsin Dells at Just a Game Fieldhouse. It'll be a very festive atmosphere, just a great event to have at the JAG.
Now, we only have about 30 seconds left. That's probably not a time to list off, or enough time to list off all the great stuff you guys do up there. Can you talk just quickly, though, some of the tournaments, leagues, camps that you guys also have?
Sure, so we have camps basically all year. October is full of fall skill camps for kids 8th grade and under. We have leagues starting in June and July for volleyball and basketball. And what's not to love about coming to a facility that's 57,000 square feet and 6 basketball courts, 10 volleyball courts. It's just fun to be a part of events like this.
It's great stuff, and the Dell's always a great setting as well. Chad, thanks for being here, man.
Thank you very much.
A special thank you to Conan Automotive in Stoughton for supporting local athletics.
All right, hopefully we made par with you or even went under par. That's a good golf way to go out after we had Peter Jacobson on the program today. Big thank you to him and all of our guests that made the show possible. Also a thank you to all the sponsors, especially the Red Zone over on Regent Street and Conant Automotive in Stoughton. Thank you to you as well for watching. We'll see you next time on the Sports News here on Wisconsin 57 Sports.